Need validation. Confidence that does not argue. Confidence that does not react. This is the confidence of alignment. Michael says this confidence will unsettle those who benefited from your confusion. Do not engage. You are not required to dim clarity to make others comfortable. Light does not ask permission to shine. It simply fulfills its purpose. Michael gives a future warning now. Authority will be tested, not through attack, but through opportunity. Not all opportunities are assignments. Some are distractions disguised as advancement. Learn to ask one question before saying yes. Does this align with where I am being led, or does it simply appeal to my ego or fear? Heaven leads through peace, not urgency. Urgency pressures. Peace confirms. If something demands immediate decision without clarity, pause. Michael says pausing is not disobedience when peace has not confirmed. Discernment grows in stillness. The next season of your life will involve influence, even if you never asked for it. People will watch how you respond, how you decide, how you speak, how you remain calm. Influence is not always public. Sometimes it is quiet and close. Handle it carefully. Influence without integrity damages both the carrier and the receiver. Michael says integrity will now guard your authority. Choose truth even when it costs convenience. Choose consistency even when no one is watching. Heaven measures faithfulness differently than the world. The world measures success by visibility. Heaven measures success by obedience. This is why some of your greatest progress will happen unseen. Do not underestimate hidden growth. Roots grow in darkness before trees appear in light. Michael leaves you with a final charge for this phase. Do not forget where you came from, but do not live there. Memory should inform gratitude, not identity. You are not defined by what you survived. You are defined by what you steward next. Steward peace. Steward clarity. Steward authority. Use it to protect. This is the phase where understanding turns into ownership. Archangel Michael says many people receive freedom, but few learn how to carry it. Carrying authority requires awareness, not fear. You are no longer being chased by darkness, but you are being observed by destiny. What watches you now is not waiting for you to fail, but waiting for you to step forward. Heaven responds to movement. Stagnation delays instruction. This is why rest was permitted, but comfort will not be extended for long. Comfort can quietly turn into limitation if it replaces obedience. Michael says you are being invited, not forced, into the next level of responsibility. Invitations from heaven do not come with pressure, they come with clarity. You will begin to sense what matters and what does not. Your tolerance for compromise will shrink. Your patience for confusion will fade. Your desire for truth will intensify. This is alignment maturing. Darkness no longer needs to attack when distraction can slow progress. Michael warns you that distraction will now be the primary tactic. Not fear. Not chaos. Distraction. Small things pulling attention away from purpose. Harmless-looking delays. Comfortable routines that keep you busy but unfulfilled. Learn this now, Busy is not productive, and productive is not purposeful. Purpose requires intention. Intention requires decision. Michael instructs you to be deliberate with your time. Time is no longer just a resource, it is a responsibility. What you invested in will either sharpen your authority or dull it. Heaven honors intentional living. The more intentional you become, the clearer guidance will feel. Confusion fades when intention is established. Another truth is revealed. Some people will attempt to reconnect with you now that the battle is over. Not because they understand the change, but because they sense the peace. Be discerning. Peace attracts curiosity, but not all curiosity is assignment. Some connections are meant to witness growth, no arrogance. Peace without numbness. Focus without obsession. These are signs that restoration is taking root. External changes will follow, but internal alignment must stabilize first. Buildings collapse when foundations are rushed. Heaven builds slowly because heaven builds permanently. Michael assures you that nothing you endured will repeat. Patterns have been broken at the root. But that does not mean temptation disappears. Temptation will return occasionally, not with power, but with familiarity. Familiarity is its last tool. You will recognize it immediately now. What once confused you will now bore you. What once tempted you will now feel empty. This is maturity. Do not fear it. Many mistake maturity for loss of passion. It is not. It is refined passion. Focused energy. Directed strength. Michael says your energy will no longer be scattered. You will notice you get tired of things that waste time. Conversations that go nowhere. Drama that offers nothing. Noise that serves no purpose. This is not isolation. This is alignment. Your time is becoming valuable because your assignment is becoming clearer. Heaven is narrowing your focus intentionally. Distraction will decrease because authority demands clarity. Michael says this next phase will reveal opportunities that once passed you by. Doors that were closed before will now open naturally, without force. Favor does not chase, it attracts. You will no longer need to convince, prove, or perform. What is meant for you will recognize you. What is not will fall away without struggle. This is how you know the battle is truly over. Struggle ends when alignment begins. Michael leaves you with a final instruction for this phase. Guard what has been restored. Not obsessively, not fearfully, but intentionally. Return to disciplines that keep you grounded. Stay connected to truth. Do not neglect the habits that brought you through the battle just because the noise has stopped. Consistency maintains freedom. Freedom without con. Practice to remain sharp. Use it gently. Use it wisely. Use it humbly. Michael says humility does not weaken authority, it stabilizes it. And now understand this clearly. You are not waiting for your life to begin. It has already begun. You are not recovering from battle. You are advancing beyond it. The darkness that once defined your nights no longer has access to your days. And the path ahead will require courage. This is the closing threshold. What began in warning now ends in confirmation. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where heaven steps back, not because protection ends, but because authority has been transferred. You are no longer being carried through the battle. You are now walking with what the battle built inside you. This distinction matters. When heaven carries you, survival is the goal. When heaven equips you, stewardship becomes the purpose. You are no longer surviving spiritual pressure, you are managing spiritual territory. The enemy understands this clearly. That is why there is no longer direct confrontation. Confrontation would acknowledge authority. Instead, darkness remains distant, silent, restrained. Distance is not peace, it is surrender. Michael confirms that what once followed you has been reassigned away from your path. You may still remember the weight, but you will not feel it again. Memory without control is proof of freedom. Control is what has been removed. As this chapter closes, Michael instructs you to mark this moment internally. Not with fear. Not with celebration. With resolve. Resolve is quiet. Resolve does not announce itself. Resolve simply moves forward consistently. Heaven responds to resolve with provision, with direction, with reinforcement when needed. But heaven does not babysit authority. Authority must be exercised. You will notice that your tolerance for chaos is gone. What once felt normal will now feel unacceptable. This is not intolerance. This is order restoring itself. Order is the natural state of aligned authority. Chaos only existed because interference was present. That interference is gone. Michael says you will now begin to recognize doors that were always meant for you but could not open while the battle continued. These doors will not demand struggle. They will open with clarity. If you have to force something now, question it. Destiny does not require force. Requires readiness. Readiness has been established. You will also recognize when something is not for you more quickly. Confusion will not linger like before. Discernment will be immediate. This is one of the strongest signs of authority settling. Delay belonged to the old season. Clarity belongs to this one. Michael gives one final caution. Do not measure your future by your past pace. Acceleration does not always look fast. Sometimes it looks stable. Stability allows longevity. Heaven is not rushing you into collapse. Heaven is positioning you for endurance. Endurance outlasts excitement. Build what can last. As the epilogue completes, Michael releases this final truth. Destiny is not dramatic. Destiny is consistent. It is built in choices that feel small but align deeply. Darkness tried to stop you because it understood this. It knew that once consistency replaced confusion, its influence would end permanently. And it has. The cycle is closed. The door behind you is sealed. Not locked, sealed. What is sealed by heaven is not reopened by emotion, memory, or fear. You are free. Not emotionally free. Functionally free. Operationally free. Assigned, aligned, protected, and aware. Archangel Michael stands as witness, not as warning now, but as confirmation. The message is complete. The instruction is clear. Walk forward. Do not look back for validation. Do not slow down for approval. Do not shrink to remain familiar. The path ahead will unfold as you move, not before. Authority responds to motion. Destiny responds to obedience. And heaven responds to alignment. This is not the end. This is the beginning without interference. And you are ready. What happens now is rarely spoken about, because this stage is not dramatic, it is decisive. Archangel Michael says this is where most people unknowingly step out of alignment, not because darkness returns, but because discipline relaxes. When the noise stops, when pressure fades, when life begins to stabilize, attention becomes the battlefield. The enemy no longer needs access when distraction can dilute authority. You must understand this clearly. Authority does not disappear suddenly, it erodes quietly when consistency weakens. This is why heaven is speaking again, not to warn you of danger, but to anchor you in awareness. Awareness is the shield of the mature. Michael says you are no longer in a season of reaction. You are in a season of stewardship. Stewardship requires intention even when nothing feels urgent. This is where character is revealed. When no threat is present, when no fear drives obedience, when no crisis forces prayer, what you choose then defines how far authority extends. Heaven observes quietly now. Not to judge, but to confirm stability. Stability determines reach. Michael reveals that the influence assigned to you is larger than you realize, but influence is released in layers. Each layer requires proven alignment. Not perfection, alignment. You will not be tested through pain again like before. Those tests are finished. You will be tested through opportunity, through comfort, through recognition, through choice. These tests are subtle. They feel harmless. But subtle tests determine longevity. Michael warns you not to confuse peace with permission to drift. Peace is the environment where discipline proves whether it was learned or merely borrowed during crisis. Borrowed discipline fades when pressure leaves. Learned discipline remains because it has become identity. Heaven is watching to see which one you carry. You may notice a shift in how you process decisions now. You will feel less impulsive, less reactive, more deliberate. This is not hesitate. Abandon clarity because it isolates them temporarily. But clarity attracts the right alignment in time. The wrong alignment leaves first. That is mercy, not loss. As this phase deepens, you may feel an internal pressure to grow, even when nothing externally demands it. This pressure is not anxiety. It is calling. Calling does not shout, it nudges. It pulls gently but persistently. Ignoring calling creates restlessness. Responding to it creates focus. Michael instructs you to listen inwardly now more than outwardly. External voices will increase as your life stabilizes. Advice will come. Opinions will surface. Expectations will rise. Not all of these are harmful, but not all are assigned. Discernment is not suspicion, it is prioritization. You cannot carry arrogance, peace without numbness, focus without obsession. These are signs that restoration is taking root. External changes will follow, but internal alignment must stabilize first. Buildings collapse when foundations are rushed. Heaven builds slowly because heaven builds permanently. Michael assures you that nothing you endured will repeat. Patterns have been broken at the root. But that does not mean temptation disappears. Temptation will return occasionally, not with power, but with familiarity. Familiarity is its last tool. You will recognize it immediately now. What once confused you will now bore you. What once tempted you will now feel empty. This is maturity. Do not fear it. Many mistake maturity for loss of passion. It is not. It is refined passion. Focused energy. Directed strength. Michael says your energy will no longer be scattered. You will notice you get tired of things that waste time. Conversations that go nowhere. Drama that offers nothing. Noise that serves no purpose. This is not isolation. This is alignment. Your time is becoming valuable because your assignment is becoming clearer. Heaven is narrowing your focus intentionally. Distraction will decrease because authority demands clarity. Michael says this next phase will reveal opportunities that once passed you by. Doors that were closed before will now open naturally, without force. Favor does not chase, it attracts. You will no longer need to convince, prove, or perform. What is meant for you will recognize you. What is not will fall away without struggle. This is how you know the battle is truly over. Struggle ends when alignment begins. Michael leaves you with a final instruction for this phase. Guard what has been restored. Not obsessively, not fearfully, but intentionally. Return to disciplines that keep you grounded. Stay connected to truth. Do not neglect the habits that brought you through the battle just because the noise has stopped. Consistency maintains freedom. Freedom without con. What comes after victory is not celebration. It is responsibility. Archangel Michael says most people misunderstand this phase. They think once the darkness leaves, everything becomes easy. But ease is not the reward of authority, clarity is. You are entering a season where your decisions carry more weight than before. Not because you are being tested again, but because you are being trusted. Heaven does not entrust influence to those who cannot carry it. The pressure you feel now is not attack, it is adjustment. Your spirit is learning to operate without constant resistance. And that unfamiliarity can feel unsettling. Silence can feel louder than chaos when you have lived in survival mode for too long. Michael says do not interpret this stillness as danger. This is recalibration. Your nervous system, your emotions, your instincts are relearning what peace feels like. Peace does not rush. Peace does not shout. Peace does not demand proof. It simply exists. Darkness trained you to stay alert for threats that are no longer present. That reflex will fade. Let it fade. Vigilance without fear is wisdom. Vigilance with fear is bondage. Michael says you are learning the difference now. As authority settles, you may notice people responding to you differently. Some will respect you without knowing why. Some will feel uncomfortable around you without explanation. Some will distance themselves quietly. This is not pride. This is presence. Authority changes atmosphere. Atmosphere exposes intention. Not everyone is comfortable around clarity. Do not apologize for it. Do not dim it. Light does not negotiate with shadow. It simply exists, and shadow adjusts accordingly. Michael warns you of a subtle danger in this phase: over-explaining. When people sense change, they may ask questions you do not owe answers to. Explanation is often a desire for control disguised as curiosity. You are not required to justify growth. Silence preserves authority. Speak only when instructed. Michael S.A. Michael says this is why clarity feels heavy at first. Clarity dismantles excuses. It removes emotional hiding places. It demands responsibility. But responsibility is power. Once you accept responsibility for alignment, heaven releases resources. Provision follows obedience. Peace follows discipline. Direction follows surrender. Not surrender to fear, but surrender to purpose. Michael reveals a final confrontation that many never see. Darkness will attempt one last emotional appeal. Not fear. Not anger. Nostalgia. It will try to make you miss what hurt you. Miss who betrayed you. Miss environments that limited you. This is its final lie. Do not romanticize captivity. Survival is not companionship. Pain is not identity. Let it go without memorial. Michael says you do not owe explanations to chapters that are closing. Closure is permission to move on. And you have permission. Heaven has signed it. As the exit completes, you may feel an unfamiliar stillness. No anxiety. No urgency. No pressure. This is not emptiness. This is space. Space where destiny can finally speak without interruption. Space where direction can arrive without resistance. Space where your true voice can be heard. Michael says protect this space. Do not fill it with noise. Do not rush to replace what left. Allow rebuilding to be intentional. Heaven rebuilds stronger foundations than what was destroyed. But rebuilding requires patience. Rushing reconstruction recreates weakness. Michael assures you that what is coming will not resemble what left. Better does not look familiar at first. It looks uncertain until it proves itself. Trust the process that brought you here. It was not accidental. Every delay taught you discernment. Every loss taught you boundaries. Every attack trained your authority. Nothing was wasted. Darkness did not win a single battle, it only revealed what needed to be addressed. And now, those addresses are closed. Permanently. Michael makes a final declaration over you. He says, "Th.